Hey guys, welcome back, or welcome if you are new. I hope you are having a fantastic day. In today's video, I want to share another in-depth perfume review, and the fragrance we're going to be discussing is by The Clone. If you are not familiar with The Clone, they are a fragrance house that recreates or dupes, if you will, a lot of high-end fragrances that are already on the market. So the scent we're going to be discussing today is their Lost in Symphony number 83. Now, this Lost in Symphony is a dupe of a very, and I'm talking like borderline ridiculously expensive Louis Vuitton fragrance by the name of Symphony. When I am reviewing this fragrance today, I am just going to be doing it from the perspective of what I think about this fragrance here. I have never stuck my nose into the real thing. A lot of times I do like to go to department stores to, sniff through different high-end fragrances. And if I find something that I really like that is not from a cruelty-free fragrance house, I will try to find a dupe, because honestly, a lot of these dupe companies are cruelty-free, and that is something that is important to me personally. So I have never smelled the real Symphony, but if it smells anything like this, oh my gosh, you guys, what an incredible fragrance. This is one of those scents that really surprised me in such a unique way. I don't have very many fragrances in my collection where, honestly, I can't think of any. I don't think I have any fragrances in my current collection where grapefruit is kind of the star of the show, right? I have fragrances that certainly contain grapefruit notes, but not fragrances where grapefruit is like the main focus of the scent, right? This particular fragrance has so much grapefruit in it, and I don't know why I've never really sought this note out a little bit more, because you guys, this works so incredibly well with my body chemistry. This is one of those fragrances that I find myself constantly like sticking my arm up to my nose and smelling it. This is jiving with my body chemistry better than I think a lot of things that I have tried in the past. This smells so incredibly good on me. Now, obviously, body chemistry is going to vary from person to person. If you are someone who knows that maybe grapefruit goes stinky on you, or you're just not a fan of grapefruit, you're not going to be interested in this fragrance, because this really is the primary focus of this Lost in Symphony here. It is so beautiful, and it's one of those that, like I said, was a massive surprise for me. I've tried a few other fragrances from The Clone, and I do think these guys do a pretty good job of mirroring what they are trying to recreate. Like I said, I don't know if this is exactly like the Symphony, but if you are looking for an incredible grapefruit fragrance at a really great price point, even if you know nothing about the original, you're going to want to stay tuned for this one, because this is insanely good, you guys. I'm in love with this. So let's get into it. The first thing I'm going to do before we dig into the top, middle, and base notes is read through the fragrance story that The Clone has on their website. I personally find that reading through these scent stories that companies will oftentimes post on their websites is actually more helpful for me in kind of understanding what the fragrance is really all about than just looking at the top, middle, and base notes. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and read this for you, and then we're going to go through the individual notes. I'm going to tell you what really stands out to me, and then we will also get into the overall projection and lasting power of this one. So, step into a world where every note hits the perfect accord. Lost in Symphony is a bold, luminous fragrance that electrifies the senses from the very first spray. Inspired by the vibrant rhythm of Symphony, this scent opens with a burst of juicy grapefruit and zesty ginger, a sparkling overture that instantly commands attention. As it evolves, spicy cardamom and crisp rosemary add aromatic depth, while soft geranium brings a fresh green elegance to the heart. The base hums with sensual musk and warm ambroxan while leaving a modern clean trail that lingers like the final note of a masterpiece. The top notes are grapefruit, ginger, and bergamot. The heart notes or mid notes are cardamom, geranium, and rosemary. And then at the base we have musk, ambroxan, and labdanum. So what do I smell in this fragrance? Okay, first of all, I've already applied this once today. I don't need to reapply it, but I'm gonna go ahead and just freshen it up really quickly here. First of all, did you see that nice, mist? Oh, I love it. These guys have really nice atomizers. You see that? Perfect distribution. Things aren't running down my arm. I love a good atomizer. Sorry, I get really excited about that. Okay, so as this settles into the skin, initially it is a massive, massive burst of grapefruit, you guys. Juicy, fresh, sweet, bright, vibrant grapefruit. This is probably the best grapefruit that I have ever smelled in personal fragrance. This is so incredibly well done. At the top, you definitely also smell that bergamot. It just, again, adds a little bit more vibrancy, a little bit more brightness to the fragrance. That just little hint of like almost like a unique liminess, I guess you could say. It just is a perfect fit with that grapefruit. And then the ginger. Normally, I don't really care for ginger, but this is ginger done incredibly well. It reminds me of the, if you are familiar with the Origins ginger fragrance, I love that. It's been years since I have purchased from Origins because they're not cruelty-free, but oh my gosh, I miss that ginger fragrance from them so much. But this ginger in here reminds me of that particular ginger note. It's a little bit sweet, zesty, but not overly aggressive. I find that to my nose, sometimes ginger can be a little overwhelming. It can kind of take over a fragrance. Not here. This is ginger done right, you guys. Those top notes are really special and really what like grabbed my attention the most in this particular fragrance. The mid notes again are cardamom, geranium, and rosemary. I do get a nice little dose of cardamom in here. It just adds a little bit of, what it does, I feel like it kind of cuts a little tiny bit of the zestiness from the ginger and tones down just ever so slightly as the fragrance dries down. It tones down a little bit of that bergamot and actually I feel like helps that grapefruit shine a little bit more. I do smell that geranium. Geranium is a very kind of special flower to me personally because when I was growing up, my Oma always grew geraniums. They were her favorite flower. They were all over her house. She used to have window baskets outside of every single window. She had them on the railing on her deck. She loved geraniums. So I'm very, very familiar with this particular floral note. It is somewhat sweet, but a little bit more green than it is sweet. So this brings in just a little bit of floral, but a very green floral note, and it is lovely. It is just, it's a really special note in this fragrance, and I love that it actually kind of stands out as the fragrance starts to dry down. It's a real memory trigger for me, and I think that's one of the reasons why I am honestly so in love with this particular fragrance. I did not expect to completely fall in love with this. Like, this is incredible. What a lovely scent overall. The rosemary, yes, you do get a little bit of that like herbaceous like rosemary note in here as well. It's not super overwhelming. It's just kind of in the background. It's just kind of lingering there. It's not anything that is like the star of the show. Like I said, it is that grapefruit that really comes forward here, and then it kind of like brings in a little bit more of that green floral from the geranium. It's just, you guys, this is incredibly well done. Now, after this completely dries down on my skin is when I do find that a little bit of that musk comes through. It's a very soft, sweet musk note. It is not aggressive. It's not anything that I think takes away from the other notes. They still remain pretty vibrant, but it just adds kind of an interesting element, and I feel like it makes the scent a little bit more addicting. I am a huge fan of musk in personal fragrance. I find it just jives really well with my personal body chemistry. That ambroxan, I think, adds, again, just a little bit more freshness. The note that I don't smell at all in here is that labdanum. Like, I don't know where it went for me in my nose, but I don't smell that particular note. So maybe you might if you want to try this one, but for me, I don't really smell labdanum in here. So this is a vibrant, citrusy, just really happy fragrance. Like, that is, I think, the way that like this fragrance makes me feel. It's vibrant, it's happy, it's bold. It's a really, like, it's one of those fragrances that I feel like gives you some confidence. I love it. And honestly, I'm telling you, I wore this all weekend, and I was working all weekend too, so every once in a while I was working and I just needed a little bit of a boost because I had to get up so early, I would bring my arm up to my nose and I would smell the perfume, and it would instantly like give me a little bit of like a push to keep going, right? Like, you can do it. Grapefruit says you can do it. So anyway, the scent itself, I don't have enough thumbs up for it. I don't know if it smells like the original, but if it does, oh my gosh, is that an incredible fragrance. Would I ever spend the money on the real thing? No. I would not. But would I repurchase this? Oh, absolutely. You guys, such a beautiful scent. I love this. And here's the best part. I feel like the projection and the lasting power of this one is so good. Did it last like 12 hours? No, it did not last 12 hours, but it lasted me a solid 8-hour work day. I can tell you that. By the time that I got home from work, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this past weekend, it was definitely starting to really fade on my skin at that point. But I was applying this at like, 6, 7 in the morning, and it lasted me throughout the early afternoon hours. And then when I came home, I would just reapply, get a little bit of like an extra boost there, and that lasted me into the evening. I'm personally impressed with the lasting power of the cologne fragrances. I think they do a really good job with that. So yeah, and the projection, I mean, listen, this is not one of those fragrances that you want to necessarily go ham with. I do think it is one that is noticeable when you enter the room, so maybe don't overdo it. That grapefruit definitely is a note that like it's gonna project. So I love it. Listen, if you're in the market for something like this, I honestly can't recommend it enough. If you don't like grapefruit, skip it, because like I said, that's the main star of the show here. Also, if you kind of feel like you're over citrus at this point in, the summer, because fall is right around the corner. Let's just praise the Lord for that. But yeah, for me, despite me kind of moving away from a lot of the summer fragrances in my collection currently, I think this is one that's going to be the exception for me. I tend to be pretty seasonal with my personal fragrance, just like I am with my home fragrance, but I'm gonna make an exception for this one. This smells incredible, and it wakes me up, it puts me in a good mood, it lasts an average work day for me, and honestly, I feel like that's all that I can ask for, especially for this price point. You guys, this is super affordable. If you're interested, I'll have it linked down below. Check it out. Let me know if you have any questions. I really appreciate you guys being here, and subscribe if you are new. There's lots more in-depth perfume reviews coming down the pipeline here, so subscribe, give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.